Just because the Giants aren't fun doesn't mean we don't have to be. Welcome to the mini episode. This is the Empire State Sports Report. I'm your host, Adrianna, also known as New York Giants fangirl. The podcast is brought to you by Believe Network and FanDuel Sportsbook. FanDuel Sportsbook is the #1 sports betting app. Download it today and make sure to always bet responsibly. So today we're just going to do a little mini episode because Friday is going to be a game preview. We'll talk all about injury updates, the Giants versus Vikings on Sunday, and more about that on Friday. But in the meantime, today, let's not talk about the Giants because, like I said, they're not very fun, but other teams are. So let's talk a little fantasy. And then we're also going to do my week 16 picks. So let's get into some fantasy football too. I hope that you guys fared better than I did. I ended up 3-10. I think, or 3-11, and I am out of the postseason run. So unfortunate here for me as the commissioner of my league, but you know what? It is what it is. What's really upsetting to me is that I felt like I had a good draft. Like I have JJ McCarthy, I had drafted Bo Nix and I dropped him, but I ended up with some good players. And, when Justin Jefferson is not having any production because he's got the world's worst quarterbacks, kind of like, the Giants last year, it's a real bummer. So anyway, not such a great year for me, but I hope that you guys have made it to the postseason. And if you have and you need some help, let's get into some good picks. Starting with, dare I say it, JJ McCarthy, because God knows that he's going to tear up our defense on Sunday, just like literally everyone else. Like Marcus Mariota, I cannot get over the fact that him and the Commanders offense put up 0 points against the Vikings defense, 0. And then put up 29 against ours. Like, I know that we don't have a good defense. I just didn't think that we were that bad. Like, it's Marcus Mariota. Like Jaden Daniels, fine. I could deal with it. He's going to run all over us. Like, it's fine. He's got a great arm. He's a better quarterback. But Marcus Mariota? I don't know, man. It's brutal. But anyway, so JJ McCarthy is for sure going to have a great week against us on Sunday. So he is available in 46 or 36% of leagues. He's got incredible wide receivers. He's got Jordan Addison and Justin Jefferson. So if I was playing this week, I would be very optimistic about Justin Jefferson because I'm sure he's going to go off. But last week against that god-awful Cowboys defense, he had 2 touchdowns, 1 interception for 250 passing yards. So his best game of the year. So he's got good momentum. He's got healthy wide receivers. He's got a decent run game. So when we talk about the preview, I'll say this. I'm a little worried about JJ McCarthy. So probably a good option if you need someone. And from a fantasy perspective, he's put up 20 plus points in back-to-back starts. So, our defense, I'm sure he's going to have 20 points, possibly even more. So if you need a quarterback, dare I say JJ McCarthy is your guy. Let's move along to running backs. Speaking of another guy who came into the Giants building and was like, I'm going to come back in here and tear it up because I know that you guys suck against the run. Yeah, let's talk about Ja'Cory Merritt, who is available in 48% of leagues last week, of course, against the beloved Giants. He had 18 carries for 96 yards, averaging 5.3 yards per carry, which is almost the best of the year so far. It's top 4 for him. When the best game was against the Giants the first time, because he had 10 carries for 8.2 yards per carry, 82 yards and 1 touchdown. So, he's always going to do well against the Giants. And the Commanders this play the Eagles. Now, we know that the Eagles are obviously a better football team than the Giants are, and they have a better defense, but they're obviously a struggling team. So I still feel like Merritt could put up some points and would be a good option. So obviously, great week last week. And next up, let's talk about Michael Carter, the Cardinals running back. The Cardinals are taking on the Falcons this week. The Falcons have a decent defense, but then they're another team that is so hit or miss. To me, I feel like I just never know what to really expect from them. So Michael Carter's available in 6% of leagues. Pretty good matchup for week 16. So I think that he's could be a good option. Let's talk about some of his stats. So he's coming off the best game as of late so far for him. He had 14 attempts for 56 yards, and he also had 4 receptions. So not a super powerhouse back as of right now, but against a team like the Falcons, this could be an opportunity for him to really shine. Let's move along to wide receivers now. Talking about Jayden Reed from the Packers, who's coming off a pretty great week. Last week, the Packers are, even without Micah Parsons, they're riding on through. So last week, he had 5 receptions for 55 yards, which was the best of his career so far this year. Obviously, he was injured, so he missed a lot of time, but he's back and healthy. And I feel like this is only the ramp up period for him. I think that this is just going to be the beginning of a good rest of the end of the season into the postseason for him. Now they're going against the Bears. The Packers are favored here, but with all the issues that the Packers have had at wide receiver and the fact that they've dealt with so many injuries, I think that Jayden Reed is a great option. He's available in 41% of leagues, and Christian Watson is still hit or miss. So again, Jayden Reed could be wide receiver 1 this week against the Bears. So great opportunity. Next up, let's talk about A.D. Mitchell from the Jets. Listen, the Jets are obviously not a very good football team. We know that. But since A.D. Mitchell has been on the Jets, he's been relatively productive. And this week they're playing the Saints. Now, the Saints are favored, but still, I think this is going to be a good opportunity for someone like A.D. Mitchell to get some real reps. The Jets announced that they are starting Brady Cook again. And his stats from last week are, of course, harder to find than when I search for everyone else's. Anyway, he had, out of 9 targets, he had 6 receptions for 58 yards and a touchdown. Now, in the last couple weeks, he has really popped off for the Jets. 3 weeks ago, he had 8 receptions for 102 yards and 1 touchdown. Now, the week after that against Miami, not a great game for him. He only had 1 reception for 24 yards. But again, this is the Saints defense we're talking about. So even if the Jets don't win, I still think there's a real opportunity for Mitchell to be productive here. He's available in 16% of leagues, and he's had 27 targets in the last 3 weeks. So he's absolutely going to be used quite a bit against the Saints. Let's move along to tight ends. You guys, I cannot believe I'm saying this, but it's not the first time that I've said this. Let's talk about Darren Waller, who's available in 37% of leagues and who all of a sudden on Monday Night Football seems to be a bit of a stud, because he had 2 touchdowns against the Steelers. And the last time they were on Monday Night Football, he also had 2 touchdowns. I don't know if it was Monday night or Thursday night, but he's all of a sudden like a primetime diva. He's got 6 touchdowns on the season. He has two touchdown games. Last week against the Steelers, he had 7 receptions for 66 yards and 2 touchdowns. Now, the Dolphins also announced that they have benched their quarterback. So there's going to be no Tua this game, which means if there's one bet that you might not want to take, it's the over on interceptions because, Tua's out. So Darren Waller and the Dolphins, now under Quinn Ewers, are taking on the Bengals. Now, we all know what the Bengals defense is like. And again, whether or not the Dolphins win this game, it's another opportunity for a productive player. So I think Waller is going to be a great option here, dare I say. As long as he's healthy, he is productive for this offense. And I think that because he's such a big body target, when you're talking about someone like Quinn Ewers, who's stepping in, having not played at all, I think it's going to be... he could be a bit of a safety blanket type of target for Ewers. So you need a tight end. Darren Waller, he's your guy. So anyway, that's it for fantasy. Let's go through week 16 and have some fun here. This part of the podcast is brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. FanDuel Sportsbook is the #1 sports betting app. Download it today and bet responsibly. Let's go through the games and go through the odds. So first up, we've got Thursday Night Football. This is going to be a good one. We've got the Rams at the Seahawks. And believe it or not, you guys, they have the exact same odds in this game. They are both -108, which I don't know if I've ever seen that. If I have, it's been a long time, which is crazy. The spread is 1.5 points. What's interesting here is that they have the Seahawks as the favorite for the points. So they are -22 to win by 1.5 points. I think I have that right. But they're -122, and then the Rams are +100 to cover the spread at 1.5 points. I think this has the potential to be an epic football game. I don't know what happened to the Seahawks last week. Very bizarre against the Colts. I know the Colts are a pretty good football team, but Phillip Rivers, come on. I thought for sure their defense was going to have 100 sacks and was very disappointed to find out that they only had one. But I think there's an opportunity for sacks. There's going to be an opportunity for pressure. The Rams are obviously a really good football team playing on a short week, though. They're dealing with some guys who left the game with some injuries. So, I'm going to take the Seahawks to bounce back here. Ooh, I don't know if that's a good idea. Next up, we've got Saturday games this weekend, guys. We've got an extra day of NFL football, and I don't know about you, but I love that. Saturday, we've got the Eagles at Commanders at 5:01 p.m. Interesting time. They usually do 4 and 7, but we're doing 5 and 8:21. Okay, I'll take it. The Eagles are obviously the favorites here. Doesn't matter that the Commanders are coming off a great win over the Giants. The Eagles are the favorite, minus 290, Commanders plus 235, and the spread is 6.5 points. Obviously, I'm taking the Eagles as much as I would love to take the Commanders, and I really, really hope the Commanders win. I don't see it happening. Next up, we've got the Packers at Bears, Saturday, 8:21. The Packers are the favorite, but not by a lot. It's minus 112, and the Bears are minus 104. The spread is only 1.5 points. I am going to take the Packers here only because I still feel like there are some flaws within the Bills. And obviously the Packers lost Micah Parsons, but I think they're going to be able to still compete in this game. I think it'll be close, but I think the Packers are going to be able to get the win here. So to be honest, I kind of hope the Bears win, but I just think the Packers are going to. Either way, it'll be a great game. Next up, we've got the Bengals at the Dolphins, which, is going to be just as exciting as the Packers Bears. If you can't tell, I'm joking. I'm being sarcastic. Bengals are the favorite, minus 230. Dolphins are plus 190. The spread is 4.5 points. With Quinn Ewers as the starting quarterback, I just cannot, under any circumstances, take the Dolphins here. So I'm going with Joe Burrow and the Bengals. Next up, we've got the Chiefs at the Titans. The Chiefs are the favorite, minus 172. The Titans are plus 144. The spread is 3 points. Obviously, the Chiefs have lost Patrick Mahomes and are starting Gardner Minshew. I'm taking Cam Ward. Let's go, baby. The Chiefs are already out of the playoffs. Obviously, there's not going to be any tanking type of situation here, but Cam Ward has actually been playing really good football. I don't know about you guys. I've seen some really great film breakdowns of the throws that he's making and how impressive he's been, and the Titans offense has been rolling a bit. Give me Cam Ward. Next up, we've got the Bills at Browns. I think this actually could be entertaining. I mean, is Myles Garrett going to end up breaking the sack record this weekend, or at least tying it? Very possible. Josh Allen, don't let it happen. Get the hell away from him. Bills are obviously the big time favorite here. The spread is 10.5 points. They are minus 620, and the Browns are plus 460. I'm taking the Bills. These are Sunday, 1 o'clock. Excuse me. I did not say that about starting with the Bengals Dolphins. Next up, we've got the Chargers at Cowboys. The Cowboys are favorites. Minus 126. You guys, I am most certainly not taking the Cowboys. The Chargers are plus 108. The spread is 2.5 points. I've talked about this a bit before. I have no faith in the Chargers. I can't believe them. The fact that the Giants beat them, I don't know. I don't really I'm not a Harbaugh fan either. So I think Justin Herbert is a beast. And I think that they're good. I don't think they're great. But you got to please beat the Cowboys. What is happening here? Next up, we've got the Bucks at Panthers. This I also think is going to be another good matchup. The Bucks are favorites, minus 162. The Panthers are plus 136. The spread is 3 points. I really like Baker Mayfield. I want the Bucks to win the South. I want them to make a play throughout the postseason. But I just feel like the Panthers have been kind of hit or miss. Them losing to the Saints was brutal, but I feel like they've done a good job of bouncing back from some of these tough losses. I'm going to take the Bucks though, because I have a little more faith in Baker Mayfield. They're getting some guys back from injury. So give me the Bucks. Next up, still Sunday, 1 o'clock. We've got Jets at Saints. Saints are the favorites, minus 215. The Jets are plus 180. Spread is 4.5. I'm taking the Saints here, coming off that big win against the Panthers on that last-minute field goal. I do think the Jets will be productive. Like I said, I think A.D. Mitchell is going to have a good game. I think that Tyler Shuck, though, is instilling some good confidence, and he's been progressively getting a little bit better every week. So I'm taking the Saints. 4:05, we've got the Jags at Broncos. The Broncos are, of course, the favorites, but not by much, minus 174, and the Jags are plus 146. The spread is 3 points. I'm taking the Jags. Call me crazy. I know. But Trevor Lawrence is coming off an insane week. This is the Trevor Lawrence that we all, thought he was going to be when he was picked, number 1 overall in 2019, I think it was. Maybe 2020, but either way, this is the Jags and the Trevor Lawrence that we all were expecting to see. And I got to be honest, I have no trust in Bo Nix. I've talked about him before. I just watched a whole video about he's coming off a really great game and made some epic throws, but so did Trevor Lawrence. So let's go, T-Law. Come on. I don't know. Something about the Broncos, I don't like them. Not to say that I like the Jags, but I like the Jags better on Sunday. So let's go, T-Law. Also, Parker Washington is going to be an anytime touchdown scorer for me. Let's see if they have the odds on that right now. He is plus 350 for an anytime touchdown score. Brian Thomas plus 240, also a great option. And Jacoby Myers plus 200. ETN is minus 125. I think I'm going to go Parker Washington. I feel pretty good about that. Next up, we've got the Falcons at Cardinals. The Falcons are the favorites, minus 152. The Cards are plus 128. And the spread is 2.5 points. I'm taking the Falcons here because I have no faith or confidence in the Cardinals. I just don't think they're a great football team. They have lost a couple guys to injury as of late. And also the Falcons might be getting Drake London back. So give me Kirk 2 Chains, and the Falcons. Next up, 426, we've got the Raiders at Texans. I mean, the Texans are minus 1,200 to win. The Raiders are plus 750, and the spread is 14.5 points. And obviously, I'm taking the Texans here. It's not even going to be close. I'm probably going to take Geno Smith over whatever the interception rate is. And then I am also going to take probably Nico Collins, Woody Marks, you name it, anytime touchdown scorer, all the above. Next up, Sunday, 426, we've got the Steelers at Lions. I love the Lions. You got to win this one, guys. They are the favorites, minus 335. Steelers are plus 270. The spread is 6.5 points. Aiden Hutchinson, I want to see you do what you did last week. Sack, fumble Aaron Rodgers, get that ball and return it for a touchdown. I think he actually had an interception. I will take either one. Pick 6. Force fumble, whatever you want to do, Aiden Hutchinson, I'm cool with, but please, for the love of God, beat the Steelers. Next up, Sunday, 8:21, Patriots at Ravens. The Ravens are the favorites here, actually, which is very interesting. Minus 154. The Pats are plus 130. Spread is 2.5 points. You know what? The Pats are pissing me off this year, so I'm going with the Ravens. I will say, I'm a fan of Ann May. I like her baking videos on TikTok. And I do like Drake May, but the Patriots fans have become insufferable again. And the world was a better place when they were all forced to be humble and deal with watching a shitty football team for a whopping 3 years. That includes my husband. So enough of you guys. I'm done. Let's go Ravens. Lamar Jackson, figure it out, please, this week. You and Derrick Henry, please run all over them. Next, we've got the 49ers at Colts. The Niners are favorites, minus 295. This is Monday Night Football. And the Colts are plus 240. The spread is 6.5 points. I'm sorry. I know that Phillips Rivers had a good game last week, all things considered, being 44 years old, out of shape and playing football for the first time in 5 years. But in no world am I taking the Colts. If it was Danny Dimes, I would feel differently about this. But and I do kind of want the Colts to get into the playoffs and do well, like for Jones, because he did so much to get them there, and I'm happy for him. Obviously very upset for him that he's injured right now. But I just can't take them over the Niners. I can't, and I won't. So I'm taking the Niners. The spread is 6.5 points. All right, the last and final game of the week, we've got the Vikings at Giants. The Vikings are favorites. Minus 156. The Giants are plus 132. The spread is 2.5 points. Our kicker, in case you did not know, is now Ben Sauls, because the Giants went ahead and waived Young Ku. And, I just cannot pick the Giants here. I cannot, and I won't. I think that JJ McCarthy, 9, has gotten some confidence in him. They have way better wide receivers than us. Our corners are questionable at best as of right now. And our defense can't stop the run. They really can't do anything right. I think our offense will put up points. I think it's going to be a challenge. This Brian Flores defense is absolutely going to be a challenge for Jackson Dart, but I think it's a really good learning opportunity for him. And that's really the only thing that I want to see out of him is make smart decisions, do good things with the ball, don't turn it over, protect yourself. And also, for the love of God, stop making yourself a target. Like, I did not watch Hard Knocks, I think I'll probably just do like a trial of HBO when it's all done and watch it then. I've seen enough clips to make me feel like it's really not that interesting in a god awful season again for the Giants. So not really super excited to watch that. But I just with everything that's going on and that whole video that came out about Dan Quinn and the Commanders, that they basically were like, "We'll go after the quarterback and get the ball out of him because he'll turn it over and whatever." I don't like that, but it is what it is. So I want Jackson Dart to realize you have a target on your back. And you cannot continue to get checked out of games and slow the momentum on drives that ends up leading to the Giants not getting points. And look, at the end of the day, he's a rookie. This is a learning year for him when we have a whole lot of other shit going on. So I really just want to see him continue to improve every week. And I hope that after seeing that Hard Knocks clip, that he's like, oh, hell no, you guys are not going to get away with this. And other teams are not going to follow suit. I'm going to get out of bounds. I'm going to slide. I'm going to pop right back up and make sure that unless I'm injured, I'm not getting off that goddamn field. So that's what I want to see from him in this Giants team. But like I said, the Vikings are winning this one. The first overall draft pick, here we come. And listen, the last thing I'm going to say here is let's not police fans on what they want. I've gotten DMs and comments from fans who say, I want them to lose. I want them to tank. I want the first overall pick. And then I get other comments that are like, how could you ever think that? Because I want them to get the first overall pick at this point. People are like, you're a bad fan. First of all, that's your opinion. I think that you're a bad fan for wanting them to win meaningless games at the end of the season that in the grand scheme of things are only going to hurt the future of this franchise. But like, we're allowed to have different opinions. I want them to lose because I think it's in the best interest of this franchise for multiple reasons. Number one, getting the first overall pick is iconic. It hasn't happened to the Giants since 1965. Number two, if the Giants get the first overall pick, that pretty much guarantees that Joe Schoen is getting fired. Number three, it makes every Giants job, GM, head coach, coordinators, position coaches, everything more enticing when we can really start and build this thing from the ground up. And I think number four, if you're a fan, like having the first overall pick gives us so many options. There's limitless options of what we could do at that position. And like I said, when this season is over, I know we're in it for Jackson Dart's development and Brian Burns and his sacks, and that's about it at this rate, and Andrew Thomas having a Pro Bowl season. But the next 3 games in the grand scheme of things do not matter. It will not carry over to next year if they magically win the last 3 games. It's not going to mean that Jackson Dart is a better quarterback if they end up winning versus losing. It doesn't mean that we don't have to draft a safety or a corner or cut this player or draft this player or do this if we win 3 games. Like, the reality is, if we lose, which we have no control over as fans, by the way. So the other people this is a conversation that needs to stop. The fans who are like, stop wishing on them to lose. Like, why are you rooting for the tank? That's bad, whatever. I can't control what they do. Me saying that I want them to lose has no bearing on what goes on in that building and on the field on Sunday. They are trying to win. We all know that, right? There's no tanking that goes on in the Giants organization. Maybe some other organizations do it. It does not happen within the Giants organization. So they are trying to win football games. Just because I want them to lose doesn't mean that they're going to listen to little old me and be like, oh, well, she thinks that we should lose, so we're going to lose on purpose. That's not how it works. Whether it's me or literally anyone else, it doesn't matter. So anyway, let's just stop telling people what to do. If you want to root for the Giants to win, by all means, root for them to win. If you want to root for them to lose, by all means, root for them to lose. Know that we don't have any say over what happens, whether it goes one way or the other. When I'm watching the game on Sunday, if they score a touchdown, I'm going to be happy. If they get a turnover, I'm going to be happy. If Jackson Dart throws a pick 6, I'm going to be upset. I'm going to root for them to win during the game. I want to see production. I want to see a functional football team. But if they lose, whether it's by 50 points or it's by 1 point, I'm just not going to be upset about it because it'll be one step closer to the first overall pick. But, like I said, none of us have any control over what actually happens on Sundays. So anyway, Thank you guys for listening. I'll be back on Friday with a game preview. The Giants taking on the Vikings on Sunday at 1 p.m. at MetLife Stadium. So stay tuned for that. If you like the podcast, please rate, review it. If you're watching here on YouTube, hit the thumbs up button, subscribe. It's all free and it helps me out a lot. It helps me grow the show for a very exciting offseason, which will be more exciting than the regular season. Sadly, but true. That's where we're at. Anyway, be back on Friday. Enjoy the rest of your week, guys. Go Giants.